Hello, hello. Who's here? Come say hi. So I know this is a last minute. Hello, Marilyn. Um, I had kind of an epiphany before coming in live, and I'm getting a lot of questions for my seed starting. Hello, Wendy. For my seed starting stuff. I should have created the name of this live. My favorite. Can I change it? No, I can't. I'm gonna have to wait after the pop-up live. So I'm gonna share with you guys my favorite seed starting tools, and I'll be answering questions because every time in my videos I start sharing about this, sharing about that, I get a lot of questions, and I am starting to fall in love more and more with soil blockers, and I want to show you the 3 that I have here. And as Marilyn requested, it's in my videos to do next week, how I am set up to do my soil blocking. Hello, Remy. Remy, tell me, once I'm live, can I change the name of this live? Like, I want to change it my favorite seed starting um, equipment, and I don't think I can change the live name. Can I once I'm live? If anyone's looking at the description of the video and it just says pop up live, if I can switch it, let's see. Are you good to make you talk on your stream? What do you mean? Questions, are you good to make you talk on your streams? Okay, so let me see if I can go change it. Oh, nice. Let's do that. Okay, I am not in my screen. Just going to change the description. And I'll be back on the screen. Okay, who's here? So I said hello to Wendy. Okay, so I changed it. Bon matin, Dan and Bridget. I had an interesting morning. I brought Luna into her first course, like obedience course. And obviously she had to be the loudest one. And I think I made an enemy there. Because one owner, I was having a hard time in playtime. Like, we were 5 dogs and we let go of the leashes. And Luna, I was having a hard time grabbing her without bumping in other people. So I was trying to be respectful with the humans there. And I don't think she really likes me because she passed a couple of comments on me. But anyways, Luna did her first course this morning, and it was weird. So I know I have a lot of work to do. When you have a question that helps you find something. Yeah, well, 5 seconds before I went live, like, I was grabbing my coffee and a snack, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about my seed starting equipment. And Darren is actually behind this thing that popped in my head. He talked about one of my soil blockers, and I told him my favorite one. So I'm like, I don't know, God knows forbid. Like, I was in my grow room, and I'm like, okay, I should definitely talk about this. Yes. Well, I already started sowing seeds, but like, the biggest is starting next week for me. Well, no, it's spring break for me, so probably like Sunday. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 2 soil blockers that I use for sowing seeds, for starting seeds. I'm working on my 3rd French press. Woohoo! Never tried French press. I'm usually a pour over type of girl, but we ran out of coffee. So we have to go to Costco for that. And now I am using K-Cups capsules, and You know, coffee's important, and it's not my favorite coffee. So until I can find the time to go at Costco, I am with McDonald's K-Cup coffee. And it's like, I feel I'm not like thriving on this cup of coffee. So I need to make time to go at Costco and get my favorite coffee. Sorry, snacking. Because right after this, I'm bringing Luna to the vet. Her first vet visit with me. So considering this morning it was a lot of emotions for her, it probably will be a lot of emotions for her at the vet. So this is a soil blocker mini 20. So there's 20 little squares, and in the middle there's little dimples, indentations. So when you press on this handle, you're going to get little mini blocks that has like this dimple indentation, and this is where you're going to sow your seed. So I'm using a lot of this because in a 10 by 20 tray, I can put a lot of these. Once these have germinated and I see the first true leaf, I can use the 2-inch soil blocker with the, it's probably going to be stuck. Obviously it's stuck. With the adapter, and if you look, it's just a bit bigger than this. So you have this that comes with the 2-inch, and you have the dibbles. So you can also use this as a 2-inch, just a 2-inch block to start your seeds. But I use these two. So I start with this, and then I up pot in this. And this gives me 50 little blocks in a 10 by 20 tray. So, and then if you want to go up a size, so this one, let's just say that you're doing tomatoes and you want to up pot them in a 4-inch pot. There is a 4-inch soil blocker that I'm crossing my finger that I will be able to buy this year. So I'm going to start my tomatoes in this, up pot them in this, and then put them in the 4-inch soil blocker. Instead of buying, I normally use 3-inch pots, but from what I'm reading in my courses, it is preferable to use a 4-inch. So that means I would have to buy at least 150 little units of 4-inch, and I might as well just invest in the 4-inch soil blocker. So this is the mini and the 2-inch. And then this is what's the equivalent of a 72 plug tray. So this is a 1.5 soil blocker, and you see this is the other adapter. So this is the original adapter that comes with the soil blocker. So this is a dibble, and then you have the square. This one, the 1.5, does not have, because you can't up pot this. What do you do? Which seeds you can use with this? Cabbage, lettuce, because you won't up pot them. You'll leave this in here. Broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, basil, anything that can stay in a 72 plug tray without being up potted, you can use the 1.5. Now I have a lot of dirt everywhere because I didn't wash them before using them. That would have been the right thing to do. Yes, don't forget the thumbs up. The pricing, I can go check. I have an affiliate link with West Coast Seeds. I think they were in the range of 40-ish. I can go check if you want. The first year I got them, there was a deal, so I got this one and this one together. I can't remember where I got them, but there was a deal somewhere, and I was able to get these two, and it came with the 2 sets of dibbles. So it came with the rectangle, and it also came with the regular ones. Now I think they range, so the 2-inch, I think they range in the $40. Obviously, you have taxes on this, and obviously, you have the shipping cost. Okay, so I was going to go with this. When I got these, I had to figure out how I wanted to, like, how to do this. So I went and I watched a lot of videos, and I didn't caught like a trick that was fast enough to fill a plug tray. Like, if I would compare the 72 plug tray to fill versus the 1.5 inch. So it took me longer to do this than to fill the 72 plug tray. And I found someone, I think it's the Arkansas Homestead or something like that. Anyways, he has a YouTube channel, he has Instagram, and he showed a technique that it now takes me about the same time to fill a 72 plug tray that it takes me to do the 72 plugs with the soil blocker. So like anything, when you start something new, you need to figure out your way and your style of doing it. And some pros that I find is that the seedling is already exposed to the elements because little blocks has no siding. So the roots are in better condition, and this is my setup that I'm using. So every soil blocker has this. So this is a 10 by 20 mesh and a low 10 by 20. This is actually for microgreens, and it sits like this. So this is how I treat every soil blocker. Why can't be up potted in a cup? They fit. No. The cups that I have here are 3 inches. And from what I'm reading, it's better to have eggplants, peppers, and tomatoes in 4 inches. This is what I'm taught in my course that I'm doing right now. And it's better in squares than in circles. My pots that are 4-inch are circle, and I can't remember why circle is not good. I would have to go back in my notes, but that's what the man that does my training said. How's it growing? You mean versus the 72 plug tray? Hello, Blinda and Chuck. I find that once you get the hang of it, I find that my seedlings are much more, they're happier in those little rectangles or squares, whatever you call them, than the plug tray. But in my unboxing video, I did show that I got some 72 plug trays new and some 50 plug trays also new. So I use mainly this, but I also give myself also grace that if I don't have the time to do all those blocks, I also use the plug tray. So I try not to be too hard on myself, but if I am honest and I think about the space that this takes versus this, I would really prefer having all soil blockers and just this, because space-wise, it's so easier. Like, I would have one pile of these, and that would be it. And then I would only have to clean my trays and clean this. The pots, the 3-inch pots, every year I take them out and wash them individually, and it's so time consuming. So probably the 4-inch soil blocker will be also time saving for me. I just have to wash that at the beginning of the season and then wash it a couple of times. Like this one now, there's a lot of soil on it. Before using it next, I will wash them. I think that's what he said. He said something about the roots being tangled up in a round. But he used a term that I wasn't too familiar with, but it does sound logical. And I bought 3-inch pots used at a closing nursery for 5 cents each. And storing those is it's a literal nightmare. So if I could just have the trays, the 72 plug trays, the 50 plug trays, and I would be able to get rid of all those pots, it would save a lot of space for me. And then down the road, like I would have specifics for the plug trays, like the experience we'll be doing, the Incredible Seed Company. I ordered some high bush cranberries, low bush cranberries, low bush blueberries, and something else. And I'll be able to use the 50 plug trays for that because there's cold stratification and warm stratification for some of them. So this is why, like, I always have the soil blockers and the plug trays. Did I miss a comment? So what's your favorite seed starting thing? I have about 10 minutes left because, like I said, I'm going to the vet right after this and I need to eat lunch before I go. So if you have a question, let me know. I'll be very happy to answer you because seed starting season is like, for most of us, upon us. Like I started my onions. I do have some experiences going on for the tunnel. Some of them are not going so good. I'm still having such a nightmare with brassicas. Right now, my Chinese cabbage that's supposed to be transplanted in the tunnel on March 25th, I think. Most of them are sad, and my kale, half of them died. So I'm still like last year, if you were here with me, and the year before that, I don't know what's wrong with my seedling operation. I can get tomatoes to grow, peppers to grow, spinach, but everything that's in the brassica family, so cauliflower, cabbages, Chinese cabbage, kale, it doesn't work. So I might have to invest in dells because my T5 operation has some heat, and I think that they all shriveled up because there's too much heat. So I don't know. This is like one of the troubleshooting that I'm dying to figure out because I'm starting my real season cabbages and all the brassicas by the end of the month. So I need to figure this out. Or I'm just going to be using the tunnel like last year, sow everything in plug trays and leave them outside. I used to do mushroom crates as well, but sometimes the crates didn't fit on like inside each other, and it became like this nightmare of like having like, I have a Costco rack of like the 48 inches wide by I think 90 inches tall or 70 inches tall, and it's full. It's full of 2-inch pots, 3-inch pots, 4-inch round pots, all the pots that everyone brings me every year. I have neighbors that brings me pots. They don't match with anything. So when I do seedling operations and I'm selling seedlings, I try to use those so that, someone else can have them. But they always end up coming back. And part of me is like, I can't put this in the recycle bin. And I'm becoming like this hoarder of pots. So this year I'm getting rid at least of my 2-inch pots because they're not useful for me. So if anyone that's near me and wants like a boatload of 2-inch pots, I think I have like 400s. with 2-inch pots, let me know, and we'll try to figure something out. Yes, I saw that. I saw your video. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that you started some of your plants. Flowers, I'm so behind on some of my flowers, but I know there's a bit of time. Herbs, I started thyme, rosemary, sage, blue sage, pink sage, cilantro for the tunnel. I have to sow your lemon balm, Marilyn, this week. What else? What else did I sow as herbs? I think that's it. Because the tunnel, I'm sowing some dill, but that's going to be directly sown. Peppers and tomatoes for me is still too early. For me, I think it's March 17th. Yeah, I still have some herbs to sow. I have to go through my list. But since next week is like spring breaks, I might like Sunday ask my husband to take the kids out with Luna and like give me half an hour to gather up my thoughts and like have like this sewing intense thing going on. Oh, I forgot to say one thing. There is one trick that I've learned in the Academy course that I'm following right now. Normally, I would fill my plug trays with dry seed starting mix or potting mix, and then water the bottom tray, fill it completely with water, and then wait that most of the liquid has been sucked back up in the little plugs, and then sow my seeds, cover the seeds, and then water my seeds. So the guy explained that by wetting your starting mix before, it helps with the air pockets. Like you have less air pockets by wetting your soil before than doing it like I was doing, just filling up with dry and adding water in the bottom. Keep potting up and get stuff in the greenhouse. Yeah, well, you have your greenhouse, and I think yours is like partially heated because of like the way that it's designed. I am thinking of investing in a diesel heater to have my seedling operation outside, because I don't think I'll be able to build a seed starting greenhouse here. Cold hardy crops can probably survive in my tunnel. Like that's what I did last year. All my cold hardy crops survived under a row cover, and they were one of the most beautiful cauliflowers, seedlings in like ever. Inside, I can't grow them. Outside in my tunnel, it did great. And I got some 8.5 inches domes that I can add up on top of that to protect them during the night, and then put a row cover on top of them. Have like, this is probably what I'll end up doing. Start them inside. As soon as they have their first true leaf, transition them outside and let them thrive outside, because I keep killing them inside the house. And tomatoes and peppers is like really important to up pot them as soon as you see sign of struggles, because then they're going to be either root bound and they're going to produce less. This is why I choose to sow them. I think my date is like March 17th, around there. I have a tendency of like waiting a little bit, because then if I don't, I have like tomato trees and pepper trees, and it kills me that I have to remove flowers and fruits on my pepper plants and on my tomato plants, because like they're still in pots. So I have a bit more time. So if you have questions or you want to share your favorite seed starting equipment, let me know. I'm still good in time. Still good in time. So I have five minutes left about. If you want, I can add my link to West Coast Seeds in the description after this video goes live so that you can go check them out. So it is an affiliate link. So when you guys order from that link, it gives me a little commission, but without have an impact on you. Heat mat. I use heat mats for celeries, onions, nightshades. So nightshades being tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. Cold hardy crops does not require heat. So cabbages is no heat. Kale, Swiss chard, none of that has a heat mat for me. Flowers, unless specified that they require heat to germinate, I put heat mat. In the greenhouse, I have a 4 feet wide seedling mat. If I see that it's going to be too cold outside, it's going to reach really, really cold down to like below 0 temperatures, freezing, I'm going to put the heat mat outside to make sure that the temperatures of the soil remains acceptable to give them their best chance to survive the night. And then when the sun goes up, turn it off. But otherwise than that, other than the onions, the nightshades, and the celery, I don't use seedling mats, heat mats. But it requires a lot of electricity to have heat mats. And it's also an investment. Like every year, I started with 2 and then bought 2 more. So I have 4 individual heat mats, and I bought 1 4 feet. But my house is very cold. I don't have a wood burning stove, and the environment where my seedling operation is still under renovation. So we're missing 2. We're supposed to put 2 heat sources there, and we're supposed to put 3 heat sources in the rectangle where the seedlings are, and there's only 1 installed. So when it gets really, really cold, it's like 15 degrees Celsius in that seedling room. So once the renovations are done, probably I will try to maintain the temperatures like around 20 so that I'm not scared for like tomatoes and all of that. But I will still use the heat mats for the heat loving plants. Enjoy. Ooh, this is fun to know. I don't need one. Like with my 4 feet one and my 4 individual ones, I'm good to go. Well, depends what you grow. Onions, I know that you're in your prime time for onions and celery. But Nova Scotia, I think you're zone 4 or zone 3. I wouldn't know your sowing calendar. I use the Johnny Seed sowing seed calendar. I put my last expected frost date plus 5 to 7 days. And then I hit enter, and it gives me everything I need to know. Yeah, we always need more shelves. It gives me everything that I need to know, like average. Like the Johnny Seed is not literally complete, but it gives you a good idea. Zone 7, I wouldn't know. I'm zone 5, so I don't know. Zone 4 is very similar, but zone 7, I have no idea. I'm actually going down 1 set of shelf. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. Normally, I have 3 to 4. This year, I have 2 that fits, and I have to figure out where to put the third. So this is probably why I'll be using the tunnel for cold hardy crops and sowing them outside so that I can buy myself less logistics to deal with. I have tables that I could put in the tunnel in, because there's one of the garden beds in the tunnel that I'm not using until the spring. There's at least one that I'm using for the experiences that I'm doing, like the lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, Chinese cabbage, and all that. So I think I'm going to be using at least one row. And then since the cat's been visiting my tunnel this winter and doing their jobs there, my turnips and beets will be planted in some big grow bags, 30 liters grow bags that I have. Canadian Tire 25 heat mats, mini greenhouse, and 72 pellets. I used to use pellets. I never enjoyed pellets. I'm happy, you guys, it's working for you. But in my house that I had before here, I started everything in pellets and it was a nightmare. And maybe because it was way too warm in that house, because we had a wood burning stove in our prior house. So maybe this is why I had a very bad experience with them. But I'm seeing you guys using them and having loads of fun. So I'm happy that it works for you guys. I'm still, I've never had good experience with those little pellets. Me too. I went down to one because it's used elsewhere, you know. Lawn keeper. I lost all my lawn keeper tomatoes. I saw someone, I can't remember where, and I'm going to let you guys go after this. They start their their conservation tomatoes later so that they don't turn red on the vines. I found that interesting because most of my lawn keeper tomatoes were red by the end of when it was time to harvest them, from what you explained to me. So either I didn't understand what I was supposed to do and I was supposed to harvest them earlier, but if I sow them late April instead of late March, they're going to be all green and like perfectly formed, and they're going to be all green, and none of them would change color. So it's not going to be I won't have to remember it. Like, I'm just going to plant them in when the frost comes, when the risk of frost comes, I'm just going to harvest all the tomatoes. They're all going to be green and put them in a card box, and that's it. Remember, we have 2 taxes, and I don't know if in Ontario it's the same thing. We have 2 taxes here, so it's probably around 25 also. Chop some coffee. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Okay, so I don't know if it's Hickory Croft. I saw someone, I think it was on a group of self-sufficiency or Autosuffisance Québec, something like that. They were talking that their lawn keeper were sown later. Yeah, well, obviously you have to take your zone in consideration. Like, I think I'm like March 17th for my regular tomatoes. So I'm going to try this year maybe like either mid-April for my lawn keepers or end of April. This is what I'll try. I'm going to end up figuring this out for sure. Well, you guys, I have to go. I have to eat like a quick bite and then go with Luna to the vet. So my celery video is ready. I've uploaded it. I just need to finish the last details. I'll upload it today later on. And I'm happy to say that both of my experiences have like shown good. Well, there's a bit of bad, but there's also a lot of good. So I started filming the part 2 because the germination is happening like way faster than before on both of my experiences. So I'll film that and hoping that next week I'll be able to do like part 2 and tell you what I've enjoyed and what I'll be doing in the future with my celery seeds. Well, bye everyone. Thanks for popping in, and I will chat with you on Sunday, and you'll have a video later on today for the celery sowing part 1. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.